Let's go ahead and share my screen. Smooth this over here and move my chat there. And we can now share that. Okay, so we are live now. So let's go ahead and get into this. So today, what I wanted to do, so yesterday, Chat GPT-4 came, and if we look here, you can see that we have uh, default 3.5, you have legacy 3.5, and you can see the differences that it's saying. Okay, it's saying reasoning 3, speed is all the way up to 5, consciousness is 2. I think that consciousness thing kind of, I know that's the part that worries people is like, conscious? Really? You're conscious? What is that all about? Um, I think that's one of those weird things. But anyway, Legacy 3.5 has no consciousness, so you don't have to worry about being eaten by the robots. 2 has 3 has 4. Consciousness is up to 4. So we are on our way to singularity. And singularity is that the AI and the human brain are on par. Now, personally, I don't think we're even close to that, but based on what they're saying here, we're only one step away from being replaced by the robots. But let's get into this anyway. So, what I want to test is storytelling. Okay. And because that's what I do, I like the stories because I know it can generate other information. I'm not a coder, so I'm not writing code. And because I'm not a coder, I really can't check to determine how well it writes code. But I can check the how well it writes a story. So we're gonna go through my prompts. And if you read my blog, you know that I shared this little I guess this structure, let's call it a story structure on how to get a story in Chat GPT. I'll link it in the video once I'm done here and get the video edited. But let's go ahead and do this. First things first, my first step is always to prime the AI. Right? Okay, so that's different. Before Chat GPT-3 would have just said Apple is good, it wouldn't have gone through this. But hopefully, let's see. Now, I don't have a story, so let let's ask uh, to give us 4 stories. Let's see. Let's get 3 options. We're gonna go with a short story. We want zany, um, and we want fast pace. We want concepts. We don't want to write a story. We just want 3 concepts. The Charlemagne, the chameleon caper in a world where scientists has invented serum. Okay, option number 2, the Clockwork Conspiracy, a top secret organization has developed a series of mechanical gadgets that control time itself, but only for 60 seconds at a time. Okay, a trio of spies, each equipped with one of these devices must work together to stop a rogue agent from using the technology to create chaos and manipulate global events for personal gain. The story unfolds at a breakneck speed as the spies race against time, literally, to save the world with a healthy dose of slapstick humor along the way. I like this one. This is interesting. Okay, so we have a concept. Now, normally, my next step would be it would be this. It would say the following concept, do not write anything, just acknowledge that you understand the story. But we have a story. Okay. We actually have a genre. So we've done step one, step two. So asking it for the concept actually has eliminated us doing these couple of steps. Um, but I definitely want to go to this right here. Let's go to step four. Let's let's do step four. Okay. So we're gonna tell it I want to use. Now, what I do like about this is that these concepts are a little more creative than what Chat GP3 would have come up with. So I think I kind of like that. In fact, let's test that out. Let's test these three. Let's test these three against default 3.5. Let's see what we get. And you can see the difference, right? A famous pop star recruited a secret agency to undercover spy. Despite the lack of training, the pop star used a charisma and quick thinking to navigate dangerous situations and ultimately save the day. You can kind of see the difference. Right away, I can see the difference um, in what we have here with GPT-4 and what we have here with 3. So I'm saying that first test, just coming up with a concept, 4 is more uh, it seemed like it just went deeper into the story. It gave us a broader concept to work with, and I think we can work with that. I think this is one of those areas where they said the language was better. Okay, so this is kind of proving out a little bit right here, but now next to let's go to the next point. All right. So what we want is I want to use option 2, and we're going to tell it let me see here. What is it here? Okay, so we're going to tell it complete the template based on story concept number 2. So let's see what it does with developing these characters, the plot points, and everything like that. Okay, so is giving us the plot. All right. So it's giving us Jack Wildcard Thompson, charismatic leader of the spy team, known for his quick thinking, unorthodox strategy. Emily, call her Gizmo. See, it's even giving me um little side names. I like that. Call him Viper. The cunning, treacherous rogue agent. So we have our 4 characters. All right. And then we ask for a conflict. And then a conflict. And we ask for the theme. And Okay. Now, here's where I could decide, right? This is where I'm going to decide, do I want a long story and request chapters, or do I want a short story? So here's how basically how this goes. Okay. Um if I'm writing a short story, I'm just going to put this prompt in. Write the story using vivid, creative, and descriptive language. Use dialogue to drive a story because I like dialogue in my stories. And I want to test for dialogue. If I'm going with the more of a novel, the book format, I would have it build an outline, a story structure, using more than likely. I tend to go with Dan Harmon's story circle, but we could probably do the 3 act structure or something like that. Um, and then from here, once I get my story structure, then I would have it write the individual chapters. I'm going to start with just a short story and see what it does. All right. And I want a minimum of 1,500 words. All right. Let's see what happens. All right. So while it's writing this story out, I won't sit here and try to read this story to you. Now, what I may do is go ahead and turn this into in AI. In fact, while it's doing that, let's go ahead over to Midjourney. And so here we are in Midjourney. So let's build our character. How do we want to build it? What I need is a spy, and I want to look. What do we want to look at? All right. We need a specific look here. I like this look. All right. So with Midjourney, let's do this. Let me go ahead and copy the full command. And we will, let's say, open the Discord. Now, when we get here, sometimes what happens is that, oh, my pictures do show up. Sometimes my pictures don't show up if I'm on a different server. So let's go here and we'll just go imagine. We'll just put the prompt in to see. Uh, I want to take everything out. Oh, wow. So this one didn't give me a style. Okay. Can't use that. I didn't really get a style for that one. Although I like the look, I didn't get a style. All right. Let's see if this look gives me a full prompt command. Let's go here. Let's take this out and not really feeling this one either. All right. Let's just go with something. Let's just say I want a oh, let's go back to Midjourney. Let's do this. Okay. Now it kind of stopped in the menu. We're going to just tell it to continue. Let's see what it did here. The mission is. Okay, so we got a little dialogue coming here, but it's just mainly because I think it's because we set a fast pace that it really does have to write the story versus giving a lot of dialogue, simply because we told it to do a fast pace. So we're going to do that, and then what I may end up doing is asking. Okay, so asking ChatGPT to um, give me a description, describe all four characters for a mid journey prompt. Um, so, and we'll see if it can do it. All right. So that's going through like that. And what do is there a particular style we want to go with? I think we want something in the realm of a like a James Bond type of feel. Let's see. We go if for the realism. Put him in a summer suit. All right. All right. It is luxury, but we want a luxury car. All right. Let's see what we get if we just do that, and let's go back over here to this. The trio saves a day. So now we have. All right. So what we're gonna do is. Let's see. Let's see. Can it? Can it? All right. So here is what I got. Not bad. We can do better than that. But let's see what happens if I put this description. I'm just going to copy this description. with a 5. The style. 0. Oh, let's see. Photorealistic. How about we go award? Ultra detailed. Let's see. And we want, we'll just start here. We'll just go AR. Let's go 69. But you know what? Let's do this. AR is 5.4. All right. Let's see what we get. And here we have Emily. Okay. All right. So which one of these is Jack? I think this is Jack. I think this one's Jack. This one looks a little too Estee Lauder type stuff. Okay, so we have Jack. Let's go with Emily. Same thing. All right. Emily. Boom. And we will do the same thing. Oh, we got something wrong. The word petite is banned. All right. The word petite is banned. All right. I don't know why the word petite would be banned, but okay. All right. So the word petite is banned. I didn't realize that. All right. All right. So we go here. We will. All right. Let's go with Marcus. Here's Marcus. Does she look like a spy? We have to figure out which one is to be a spy. All right. And then last one is Victoria. All right. Lisa gave me 2 women and 2 men. All right. Let's see here. Go there. Oh wow. Did it pop up with Vic Marcus that fast? Okay. All right. So here we go. We got Jack. We're gonna take number 3. Let's take number 3. Right, Emily, which one looks like a spy? Well, I guess if you look like a spy, you could go off. I like that one. I just don't like it. It's just like I'm not sure about the hair like that. Let's go with number one. Marcus, big brute. Yeah. Number four. All right. That looks like. And then see that should be her. It should be number four again. All right. All right. So we have our characters. So we have all of that. Now the question is this story any good? All right. The way we can test that, let's take this, go in and boom, take this. And now we go to the third part of typically what I do with this, and that's 11 labs. Let's go to 11 labs. I don't need to see my sign in information. All right. So here we go with 11 labs, and let's see how that sounds. And now let's see if I am sharing my. I don't know if you guys can hear my computer, but let's go ahead and generate this. We'll see how it sounds. And all right. So while that's generating the audio for the voice, let's go back to Midjourney to see our characters. See everything live here. All right. So there's Jack. We still haven't gotten. Okay, we're waiting for Victoria to get upscale. All right. Okay. So these are the four stops, our four spies, waiting for this one to upscale. So that'll be a few minutes here. Yep, there we go. So we have our four spies. Audio is still generating, and we will find out if we have a good story. All right. Now, typically, what I would do is this: I would I would create a lot more images because what happens is that in order to get a good um, in order to get a good story on that's kind of worth watching on YouTube, what you have to do is that you have to change the images out, and typically it's about every 6 seconds or so where I try to put in a new image when it comes to the story, or at least have the image match the story. But sometimes I do find it's like I don't wanna go through all that work, so I just put a bunch of images in and people can just listen. Okay. In this case, we have our sound. Um, we are not hearing it. I don't hear it. So I'm not sure why. I don't know if you guys hear it. Okay. All right. Not bad. It's not bad because you know what? Here's let's point out some obvious things what's happening with Chat GPT-4. One of the things that I had a complaint with ChatGPT 4 with ChatGPT 3 is that it could not give me a sense of place. Okay. But let's take a look at what is doing here. It is saying their journey began in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of London. As the trio huddled together, see, that's something that three would have missed that creating that sense of space between the characters. Jack couldn't help but notice Emily's hand shaking ever so slightly. She clutched her gadget with a mixture of reverence and fear, the same emotion Jack had felt when he first received his. Marcus, on the other hand, wore an air of confidence, his military training shining through. The ex soldier was a man of action, always ready for a fight. So, what you see here in just this paragraph is that what Four is doing, it's giving it is kind of like painting a picture of the space, painting a picture between the characters, that relationship between the characters, and it's actually doing a really good job with this. Let's go in where it says because I heard something about crystal chandelier. Okay, right here. Their first lead took them to a lavish mansion in the heart of Paris, where intelligence suggested Victoria had recently made contact with a wealthy arms dealer. As they infiltrated the high society event, Jack couldn't help but admire the grandeur of the surroundings. Ford would have never talked about the surroundings. It was always very direct in the sense that it was just looking at some of the facts, where here it is kind of painting this picture, giving me a sense of what I like to call that that sense of place. Um where are the characters? Where are they in relationship to the world around them? Those are the things that make the story, and you have to feel that because if I have a character sitting next to a cliff, well, I want when I write that, I have to write it in the way that you understand the cliff. What are they seeing? How high are they? What are the clouds? What are the trees? What's on the horizon? What's behind them? You know, you want to get a sense of all of that, and that's what this is doing. This is actually, I'm, I am impressed. Okay, so with this, and so I think this may be a good story. And then again, when we talk about describing a character, you can see it went into great detail to describe a character. Um, so overall, I am I am impressed with this. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the whole story out, get it edited. I'm not even going to edit. I'm just going to take these 4 characters, put them up, and then, you guys can kind of play around with it and listen to the story and see if it's any good. And the test is it any good without me having to go in and change anything? That's what we're going to test. So let's go ahead and I'm not going to do any editing. I'm going to copy this. And where is it? And I'm going to go to my labs. I am just going to paste whose voice? First of all, let's find out whose voice is going to be best for a spy story. So let's do that. All right. So I'm going to come here. I'm just going to paste this real quick. Let's test Adam's voice with this and see if he's good for a spy story. All right. All right. While it's doing that, why don't I just go here and download my images? Oh, it's kind of blurry. All right. So let's take that beta upscale it. Oof. Okay. That's the thing about Mid Journey. If you really want a sharp image, and I probably could sharpen this if I wanted to. Um, let's talk that. Yeah, let's try it. Let me show you how if I wanted to just really do this myself because you can see this is not sharp at all. Um, there's a couple of AI tools that would sharpen this, but this is not sharp at all. But what I would do is come into Photoshop. Let's go with not a poster. We'll go with YouTube. Yeah, let's go with YouTube. Yeah, that I like that voice. Right. You know, I don't know if you guys are um let me view on YouTube. If you guys are can hear the audio um from my desktop, that would be great to see if you guys can hear that. All right, so how would I sharpen this if I really needed to sharpen it? I would just create a duplicate layer, go to filter, other, high pass, and we'll do that. See if we can get some details to come out and then change this to overlay. All right, so you can see it's a little different. We sharpened it a little bit. That may be enough. That may be enough to um to pull it off. Um, don't know. Okay. All right. So now that we have everything, let's go back in. All right. So I may use that. So we have our story, and now with the AI, I can only do 5,000 characters at a time. So I don't need this. Right. So let's do it in 3. do it here. One. So we have that. So here's our first one. And that was 2,000 characters. So we basically one, two, three, 10 lines. We can do maybe 15 lines next time. Okay. So the first one is generated. Right. Is the second one. And yep, almost 4,000 characters. Generate. All right. So it's doing that. Um, okay. So the one thing, let me go ahead and stop this. Okay. So one thing I I've noticed with the language that is the transition languages that I kind of have a problem with. Sometimes I just don't like how it ends. Um, it has these phrases that Midjourney likes to use. You know, his gadget constantly ready, checking his teammates' political crisis. You know, when it transitions from one phrase to another, it has these weird. cliches that it likes to say. And so those are the things that I would have gone back and edited. Now that I'm listening to it, there are things here that I would go in and I would edit because I can hear the cliches. And here's the good thing about this. We can have mid journey. Let's take Chat GPT and let's have it critique the story. Okay. So this is where we can go in, and this is one of the things I really like about it. It is you can see character developments. The character developments have distinct personality and its role within the team, but their background, motivations, relationships could be explored more deeply. Okay. Um, it has some issues with the world building. And here's the thing about this. Here's the thing about Chat GPT. Okay. The climax of the story is resolved relatively quickly with each character succeeding in their respective missions without too much difficulty. So here's where you can go in and you can have it say, okay, you know what? Um, we can improve this story. So it's pointing out all of these flaws. So here's the thing about this that we can do. This is like what we're going to do now is we're going to tell Chat GPT to write this story based on this, rewrite the story based on a critique, using as many characters as necessary to complete uh, a story that addresses all of these issues. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Only one message at a time. What does that mean? I don't get it. Okay, let's something happened there. So let's come back here for a second. All right. So the last we kind of oh, don't know what happened here. Only one message at a time. Please allow other responses to be completed before sending. Okay. You can see something happened here. All right. We'll see what happened and then we'll just keep going forward here. All right. So it's going to rewrite the story. I've had it to rewrite the story based on the critique that it just gave me to give me a fuller story. So we're just going to go ahead and all right. All right. So we'll just generate this. This would be the end. And then we will see what the final story is. All right. Okay. So we know that 4 gave us a story. I think one of the things that I found here is that the context, um, when I asked for the story concept, I was able to get a fairly decent story concept of it. So this is the story we used. Um, it did well in my story prompt. Writing the story, it was okay. It did pretty good, but even when we asked ChatGPT to, critique it, you can see that it went deep into the critique of this story, of the story that it generated. And so now all we're doing now is telling it to rewrite the story addressing all of these issues. Okay. And so now I can have it continue. And now we can see if it can rewrite this story and, you know, not finish the story because again, ChatGPT is notorious for wanting to finish the story. It doesn't um I don't know, for some reason it just doesn't want to give you a full story for some reason. So that's one of the things that we can address, and we'll see if it addressed those concerns that it had. And so we can see it's still moving fast, right? Because it's still saying right about the same time as is a part of ways that can help a Philippine. No, 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 no. All right. Okay. So you can see right here. Okay. Along the way, he was forced to confront his own fears and insecurities, pushing himself to the limits, both physically and mentally. Now, in a real story, we would not write that. We wouldn't write this. We would show it. We would go into all of these issues, right? And so we would draw this story out. Now, my edit for this story, if I really wanted this to be a story, my edit for this story would be to go in here and say, write this part of the story. Give me this part of the story. So that's one of the things that we could address. And I can see that right away that it did not address this. Okay. Um, and then let's go. But the other thing that it is doing, it is writing me a longer story. Before I had 2 prompts. We're on the 3rd page of this. So before the first one, okay, started here, went here, and then it stopped. Okay. This time with the correction, it starts here, It goes here, and last time it stopped, and this time it's continuing. So it is trying to fill out this story. Okay, so that's one of the things that we can see right away, that it is time to trying to fill out this story just a little bit. Uh, but you can see it's ending it now, right? Okay, so it did end the story. So it added something to it, but you can see in a story like this, right? Chat GPT still has the issue of dialogue, and it has the issue of wanting to end the story very fast. However, on this point, compared to three, and when I say three and four, I mean GPT-3, GPT-4. I just get tired of saying that. Um, but four compared to three, four is at least painting a a more vivid picture of the world around the characters, whereas three did not. It could not do it, and you would have to force it to. I'd always have to prompt it to give me more, give me more, give me more. Whereas four is automatically giving you some of it, not a lot. Still not a lot of dialogue, so we have to work on that. But overall, for my storytelling, um, is still one of those things where I would want to drive the story a little more than I allowed this evening. Tonight, I just wanted to test it out and say, okay, just drive yourself, give me a story. Um, and I think it did okay. So, part one, it passed. Um, it still goes down to the fact that at the end of this, I would probably still edit. And if I really want to write the story out, uh, I would come in the middle of this and I would start filling in some details along the way. But as a structure, you have a much longer structure to work with. So I think that's one of the things. If you were serious about writing, it gives you a longer structure, something to work with. It gives you some good concepts. So this is one of those cases where I think, hey, maybe you could um you probably could get away with using this as at least a good structure, and let the chat bot give you some ideas. All right, so that's it. We're coming up on 58 minutes. I've been talking for an hour. I just wanted to test this out because I do a lot of storytelling with AI, and I wanted to see what kind of story it can give me. And I think it proved that it is there. I see some improvements. Now I have a lot more testing to do with this. So over the next week or so, I'll put in a lot of work and see um, a lot of more towards instructional design as far as case studies, um, storyboarding, um, learning objectives, those type of things, needs analysis. Can it walk you through a needs analysis in a way that's almost human, or at least an assistant to a needs analysis when it comes to instructional design and learning? So I'll go through all of those things and kind of give you guys my feedback on those as well. Otherwise, I may not edit this at all. It just may just stay just the way it is and say the hell with it. All right. Well, that is it for me. I am going to get out of here. Let's see if I have any branding information here that I want to talk about. All right, guys. So, hey, if you want to read my blog, check out the blog at the Quick Start Creative on well, I'm at the Quick Start Creative on Medium. So I have a blog that I do. So check the blog out. Don't know how often I write. I just kind of write when I want to, but you can check my blog out. Check out the other videos on the YouTube. I'm going to start posting more videos. I'll get back into the mix of things. I'm going to start an After Effects series. So I'm going to kind of get into After Effects a little bit and do some motion graphics and stuff like that for instructional designers and people who do e-learning development. So This channel is all about helping content creators, helping instructional designers, helping e-learning developers um, really kind of navigate into this world of tech. Of so that's what I do here. All right. So otherwise, I'm out.